well, damn, like something on the motherboard with the sound go fritz. Load up Linux Mint off a USB and the sound works fine. So like, oh, okay, so this is just some corrupt bullshit on Windows 10. Spend quite a while just doing the eventual, eventually you just get to the point where, well, at this point, gonna probably need to do the old reinstallation. The old, can't figure out how this little thing seemingly doesn't work, so just reinstall Windows, the classic solution. So reinstall it, keep all the files. Oh, we got sound, it's working fine. All right, well, let's just go get all the Windows updates that it needs. And then there's like, of course, Windows updates has its own problems. I really love that like every component of Windows 10 has a troubleshooter. And anytime you run it, even if it seems like it's working fine, it finds errors. It's just, I don't know if that's good or bad that you can troubleshoot something. So it's like, well, shit, great. So we got one problem fixed, now there's another. Now you're doing the endless Windows update fixes for this code. I found this Microsoft page with like, try this, does that work? No. All right, try this, did that work? No. Try this, did that work? No. It must have been about 6 options until it was like, do a in-place upgrade. Essentially, it's like reinstalling Windows, but still allowing you to keep all your files and stuff, except it's not going off of what's built into Windows 10. It like re-downloads all the files and updates on its own and whatever, It's like, wait a second, I thought I used a reset my PC feature. I thought that reinstalled Windows. I guess the files that were already on here must suck. So yeah, I went through all that bullshit. It's like, oh, well, all right. So reinstalls it back, go run the update again, and voila, oh, it works. We got sound, and the fucking Windows update works. Yippee. It's just some of the audio crackling that I remember that computer used to have. It's like once in a while you open up a system menu and it sort of like pops the sound for a second and then plays. I don't even remember what the solution was, but my dad, they just used the laptop primarily. On the TV, yes, folks, I know, 5 minutes and counting of I don't know, rambling family laptop repair talk. But don't worry, there is a little thing about a potential date, but you know me, we don't get emotionally attached anymore, or at least try not to. But yeah, so after all that shit, and yeah, like I kind of did some stuff, and I think it sort of helped with the audio, but I think going through the TV, it doesn't really matter anymore. So got Outlook, got Microsoft Office reinstalled, malware bytes, Firefox, got the bookmarks, blah, blah, blah. And then around then, my parents came home from work and all that, and it was like, well, I thought I was going to be productive today with something else, but as laptop repairman, it's just that thing of like anyone who does any sort of IT stuff as part of their job, even if you're not like a help desk, whatever. I mean, even if you're just, I imagine even if you just work at like the Apple store answering questions about iPhones and shit like that, it's like you spend your day doing that, and then you get home, it's like the last thing you want to do is spend any amount of time fixing stuff at home, especially when it takes, I started at about 8 a.m. and didn't finish until about 6:30 p.m. Literally, the entire day went towards that. So yeah, I thought I got everything reinstalled more or less, and Dad was just going to go through and finish up some last stuff. Yeah, so I was going out to the park and just working out. I was like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. And then he sends this message like, nothing is working. It's he can be such a boomer with technology. It's the whole, I get frustrated by a thing or two, and like nothing is now working. I mean, I understand it. We all do that. But I love him either way. That's all right. It's a small price to pay, helping out, keeping the family laptop working for, disappointing your parents who gave you the American dream, and you turned out to be some failure. But anyway, so I drive back, I did like several sets into working on trying to do pull-ups with like a closer grip, just varying up some of the variation. Yeah, no chin-up work. I'm like doing the handstands and shit, like it aggravated my golfer's elbow, so I think I already talked about that. So yeah, I feel like in this grip, it doesn't really bother it much while I work on like the wrist rotations with the dumbbell, because yeah, fuck the TheraBand flex bar thing, ain't doing anything anymore. So, what the fuck was that? So it's like, oh, okay, I'll drive home. And I get home, it's like, all right, what's not working? It's just, it goes to this, it goes to Russian websites where you can watch, like, get Russian movies, and so obviously, like, malware bytes pops up and stuff like that. That's why he has it. I was like, all right, bookmark this website and it's not working. It's like, all right, well, let's cut out the welcome.php part or whatever, and it works. And like, okay, which link do you actually want to bookmark? So we click on it. It's like it's a much longer link. It's like, how the fuck did you get this? Like, of course it's not working because it's not really going anywhere. So we get the right thing bookmark. Oh, it's not opening in uTorrent. Like, all right, well, let's try a movie. Like, okay, it's working for me. Like, all right. And he really likes the Windows Media Player Classic for all his files. Like, well, I can't find it anywhere to open with. So it's like, I open up one of the files. Like, no, I don't want the Windows 10 movies thing. Let's go down for more options, and then click on the thing that says search for something that isn't on here, and we find the directory where it's at and select it. Or it wasn't doing it for me. Well, I wanted to associate with all file types. It's like, but it's not letting me select them. It's like, if you try to do it, it says you don't have the required permissions, and literally like below it there's a thing that says open as administrator. Like, all right, well, let's click this, and like, oh, suddenly we can associate Windows Media Player Classic with everything. Yay. And I just clicked on all the movies and said always open with Windows Media Player Classic, and there we go. Oh, everything's solved. So that was, so I drove back actually to the park after and finished up doing my pull-ups. And when I get home, I need to go to the gym real quick and work on the back extensions. Getting better and better at doing those. I started holding a little dumbbell just to add extra weight. But yeah, that was my, you know, it's the classic, just a random thing with Windows 10 stops working, then the 1000, you know, and so yeah, that was my day, folks. But there's more. So just a long appetizer, you know, for the main course. The fuck is that? I think it might be the cedar. I keep like pressing my knee into something. But I'm as frustrating, as angry as this whole experience today has been, especially since this is your one day off. And speaking of which, I was supposed to have my have a lunch with the half Afghani friend, and I didn't hear from him about like, oh, do you want to stop by this time? I have a feeling he might have forgotten since we kind of planned this out more than a week ago. But or maybe he just sort of woke up and had one of those days like I have, where I just don't want to be around anyone, which is completely understandable, you know. And yeah, since I was dealing with all that shit, I was like, oh god, I need to get this done. Why do you help your parents with the computer? Well, I mean, my parents, a lot of stuff for them is focused around it. Watching movies, going on Skype, talking to people, reading news, blah, blah. I mean, obviously, you know, and I want to help them out too. I mean, am I going to be, you know, these people, they put up with my shit and don't charge me for rent and any of that and love me more or less unconditionally. Am I really, you know, what is it to spend like a day of your life to just like make sure this laptop is working? And I'm trying to be grateful in that, you know, there's much worse things you can wake up to. You know, you might find out something happened to a family member, one of them, or something like that. So, you know, at the end of the day, as frustrating as it was, it's just a computer, folks. It's just a computer. That's okay. That's okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think once they're done tonight, I might just double check a couple of things with Malwarebytes, because it is, I don't know, just if I need to add any exceptions or anything. What's this about a date? What's this? So, I guess backstory. To set it all up, in case you're new. So, maybe about 3 years ago, was using OkCupid, sending messages, not getting responses, blah, blah, blah. And I remember, you know, you come across a girl, very curvy and shapy. So, you know me. Old Georgie boy gets excited. So, yeah, I messaged her, never heard back at all. So, I was like, all right, whatever. So, yeah, I remember, I think about 2 years ago, just like, you know, they were interviewing for somebody, and like, I see her walk in and interview. It was one of those, like, oh, shit, small world, right? God damn, small world. But, you know, I didn't really get the look of like, oh, I remember who you are. You're that one guy. You know, none of that happened. So, you know, you work with them, you chat here and there, blah, blah. And this is the one that I tried to ask out. You know, like some of us will use like a chat application, just so kind of get in faster contact with each other versus trying to go through email. And, you know, she just told me, she put it, she said something like, oh, I think you're cool too, but I'm currently not accepting applications for dating or something. You know, she's got a very sort of quirky something personality too, if you want to, I don't know how you describe it. So she put it, you know, it's a nice way to say not interested. Although, you know, it was a little bit vague in that, like, oh, you know, does that mean like you're not interested, or are you just, you're not dating right now? Something like that, whatever. But it was amusing, whatever. So yeah, she doesn't work here anymore. And periodically I'll try to stay in touch and all that. So, and I know she's kind of got stuff going on right now. So I thought, like, I was just sitting there very frustrated and angry in the middle of sort of waiting for it to update or install or something like that. And I remember like, man, should just like message her and try again, you know? Just for try again. I mean, I technically didn't get a no, like a no-no. And I mean, and it's one of those, I was overthinking it, and eventually it was like, motherfucker, like you don't work with this person, and more than likely you're never going to see them again. And it's not like you're being vulgar and whatever about it. I don't want to, you know, put my hand, you know, is it really that bad to ask in a nice way? So we were talking, and I just said, oh, you know, trying to get things more on track, you know, will you be accepting applications for dating? And she said, yeah, she replied and said, may very well will be, or something like that, and said, do you want me to let you know when applications will be open? I told her, indeed. You know, I put like .com as like, you know, applications, Indeed as in, yeah, I want to know, and like the website. You know, it's kind of dumb. I know it's really, wow, you guys sound retarded. I said, I'll have to get my resume ready, and she liked it. Yeah, so she gave a thumbs up on that. So you never know. Old Georgie boy here might have a potential future date with a nice, big old, well, curvaceous girl who's not 40 years old. But you know, all joking and stuff like that. You know, it's obviously it's nothing to sort of get terribly excited over or really get emotionally invested in at all. I mean, like I said, letting go, folks. Letting go. I mean, God, 5-10 years ago, the Georgie boy of back then would be, this is all I would be thinking about. Like, oh, what? But there's no point. I mean, you know, what is any of the, you know, realistically, nothing will happen. And now if it does, sure, that's great. But, you know, realistically, nothing will happen. And by the off chance, by the small off chance, whatever, that you do get together and go out for coffee, I mean, you may very well find out of like, oh shit, like, you know, find them physically attractive. Yeah, I sort of like their personality, but when you actually get together on a date to try to get to know them, you know, there's just sort of nothing there. So that's just something I have to really I feel like that's something that I'm really having to learn. Is you can't go from like, oh man, to from 0 to 100. I mean, you may in the, you know, just because you approach a girl or whatever doesn't mean she's going to be interested in getting coffee with you. Just because you get coffee with a girl, doesn't mean that yeah, even though you might find them physically attractive and think you sort of like their personality, you might find out, you know, never mind. And you know, I have to admit too, as much as the prospect of physical intimacy, especially with a girl who's curvaceous and shapely, you know, as much as exciting as that sounds sometimes, you know, it's very well one of those things that you'll have your moment of excitement and then it's sort of over and you're back to feeling like, you know, whatever. So it's part of the letting go process. You know, I had a brief moment of like, oh shit, that's another vague but whatever answer, but it seemed like there's a maybe, but no attachment, folks, no attachment. Worst case scenario, you never hear back again, but it's not like this person was contacting you to keep up with you, so to speak. I mean, I was the one who messaged her a couple of times. No, not like, oh, within a short span. No, that's neat. I mean, it's like weeks instead apart. Is just the other doing. So, yeah,